Hey there, Chad here. Thanks for joining me. Rising Star 2 fans, I ran into something that I need to, I'm not sure what to do. I was recording some episodes tonight and I went to the map and I noticed something peculiar, sort of. I have all these duplicate cities. Well, I know why that is. I started my own, my a private playthrough outside of the one I do that you all have been following along, just to kind of try out some other ideas. And it didn't have any of those extra cities that I added around the St. Louis metro area, like Columbia or Carbondale. I actually added Evansville as well, Peoria, Champaign. These are places I've mentioned before. My son has gone on tour to on like 3 or 4 day tours. He's gone and hit some of these places, and they've had pretty good turnout in a lot of those, and that's been great. Well, I immediately knew what happened here. I had re-added those cities, and upon re-adding them, it added them into everyone but Andy. And I don't really, well, I guess I do know why. I started everyone but Andy on my previous computer, and I reinstalled Rising Star 2, but I copied over the data files. So the data files included data on one of these Champaign Urbana, one of these Peoria, one of these Columbia, etc. And what that seems to mean for me right now is having saved it since I started, I don't have a means to get back to it because they're now in the save record, and the save record is, at the very least, it's obfuscated. It looks like it might have some sort of low-level encryption on it. I saw that there's a checksum on it, basically, which is there to, if you're not into computers, what that means is it's there so that you don't mess with the data and then, continue to play. It's kind of locked in a way that if it changes, the application will know that it changed and it won't accept the data. So completely normal kind of thing to do, particularly when putting a game together. You want to protect your information in that. I totally understand why it is there, but I am not seeing a way around this right now, and it is not helpful. I went in, I tried to delete those cities from my system, the ones I added in the meantime, and they don't go away. So these are now all in my game permanently. And because I'd been kind of doing Iron Man mode in a way, I haven't been doing significant saves on my data. It's not there anymore. So I think what I'm going to do is put up a poll for those of you that are following Rising Star 2. I'll have a poll out there. Everybody will see it, but I'll try to link to it in the description here. I think what I'm going to do is restart. I don't want to end the series. I'm really enjoying doing the Rising Star 2 games again, or the playthrough again. Very much enjoying that. But this just isn't really sustainable. It's confusing. It would not be, it's not going to be good gameplay, And I suppose what I could do is move to Europe or something like that. But that doesn't tend to be what I like to do. Plus, there's a lot of fun in the first half, the first several hours of the game. I think that's where it's where I get charged up and I get those good ideas of, oh, this is what I should do next. And I really enjoy that part of the game. So I think I'm going to restart. I think I'm going to restart with a new band. We'll give it a different name so that it doesn't collide from a YouTube, lookup perspective. And I'll link these videos to that in the future, but I'm not sure what else to really do there. I'm disappointed, but I will say this, 100% on me. This is not something that, yeah, this is me. This is me doing something to, kind of, well, copying over my previous system as opposed to doing like a backup and bringing it over. I guess it's me, but it's not me. I don't want to blame the game. That's what I guess I'm getting at. I do not blame the developer for this being how they do it. I completely see why they do it the way they're doing it. I appreciate it. It's actually very eloquent. In this particular Edge case, what I did totally messed it up. So again, on me, not on Gilly Games. And now we know also, if you're if you're following along, we now know what can happen if you do that. So again, I'm not quite sure what to do. I'll put a poll on the site and we'll leave it running for a couple of days. I might go ahead and upload. I did 3 videos tonight. The third one is where I started to really realize something had gone horribly wrong and I couldn't get it fixed. The second video is where I first noticed it. I'll go ahead and post the first of those videos, and whatever ends up happening there. If there's a really strong push, no, keep going. Well, I might do that. I don't know. This is one of those things that I won't recover from myself. You might have one of those things in your life where it's like, yeah, this will bother me. I will really struggle with this going forward. So it's such a silly little thing, right? But it will be on my mind, even if I move over to Europe or to South America or China. It's still going to be sitting there in my mind that back there I'd really screwed that up, and I think I'd rather just move on from that. So that's my thinking and why, and I just wanted to put that out there for you. So I hope you'll take a few minutes to look at that poll and just give it a thumbs up or thumbs down. My thought is what I might do is keep the same theme, keep the office theme. I found some better attitudes that I kind of felt made more sense and I could keep track of a little more easily. I liked them, and was thinking I might change that up, and I might change the band name to Nard Dog. Probably still keep the Everyone But Andy poster and all that, and just kind of play through it a little bit differently. Maybe not tremendously differently, but slightly differently. Make it a little different, And I don't know, maybe we include something else in there, maybe put in comments. I like starting in the Midwest because that's where I'm from and I know it. And I have thoughts about the various towns that are in the area. I have very distinct thoughts of these places, particularly the ones I've added. I've got to say I've been to Jonesboro once in my life, but most of these places I've been to in this circle, I guess, I've been to most of these places multiple times. Maybe not so much Fort Smith and Little Rock and Jonesville, but not Knoxville. Most of the rest of these cities I've visited many times. And so, I have a certain fondness for this part of the country. I believe we started this band in Madison. I lived in Madison when I was married and love Wisconsin as well. And that was a kind of a fun thing, but it made sense then to move the band to St. Louis. As I recall, we were having some problems with attitudes. I just couldn't get consistent attitudes for a bit, but I would probably prefer to do that. But if you have any thoughts, toss them out there. My goal overall was to conquer the U.S., be a big band name in the U.S., get a couple of, top 10 albums, that kind of thing, and then go over and start again in Europe. That's really what I was kind of planning on doing. And why Europe? Well, I've been to Europe. I've visited Europe. I think Europe is a beautiful place. No offense to any of the other countries represented or parts of the world represented, China, Japan, Korea. I've just never been there. I've never been to South America. So that was kind of my plan. I was going to jump over here and we were going to start anew at some point and rebuild it. Like I said, it would stay in my mind. Even if we moved the band to Vienna, it would stay in my mind that I had screwed that up and back in the States. It was an unrecoverable error. So that's part of the reason I just don't go ahead and do that. All right. Well, I have probably said enough on this. I'm really sorry. I think this is the end of Everyone But Andy. And we will, again, I'm leaning towards, unless the poll indicates, dramatically in a different direction, I think I'm leaning towards starting a new band called Nard Dog. Maybe trying a couple of things a little bit differently, maybe trying some different skills next time, and we'll take a look-see. So please take a look at that poll, leave a comment. You can comment on this video as well. I certainly will check on those as well. But I do want to thank you for paying attention to this silly series that made it up to 54 episodes before I really screwed the pooch with it. And we'll figure it out. We'll go from here. I was starting to see myself stretched a little thin, but there's a piece of me, there's a nagging piece that says, well, this is where you stop on this one for a while. but I really don't want to do that. I'm having the most fun with this game right now. Of everything I'm playing, this is the one that I just personally can't get enough of right now. So that's probably not going to happen, but we will see where this goes. I, again, want to thank you for your time, and please take a look. Beyond that, I'll see you soon. Fair travels.